Think about this. Two people in a business working together, but they often have conflicting views and their backgrounds are so far apart that it affects how they work together. Workplace conflicts are often inevitable, but today we're providing you with tips on how to solve them. And then, talks with Minister of Tourism Edmund Bartlett on climate resilience and much more. Hi, I'm Theodore Henry, and this is Jamaica Magazine. You can't afford to miss anything from today's show, so stick around.
Respecting yourself, how you carry yourself is very important. You hear me, young men? We take for granted oftentimes as men that people judge you before you even open your mouth. From they look at you, they form a perception. They make up their minds about you. So the question is, when they look at you, what do they see? Understand you might not always agree, but you can respect somebody else's view.
Respect my lad.
Respect my dad.
Yeah, man, respect.
It doesn't take anything to be respectful. And you can never tell the impact you will have just by saying, good morning, please, thank you.
Respect.
Good day, I'm Stephen McHugh, and this is your JIS News for Wednesday, September 19. Government has entered into a profit-sharing arrangement with New Day, the operators of the Noranda Jamaica Bauxite Company in St. Ann. Mining Minister Robert Montego made the disclosure during Tuesday's sitting of Parliament. It follows the September 6 signing of a novation agreement between the two parties. Through the profit-sharing pact, the government and New Day will benefit from any financial recovery in the mining and refining operations of the entity. Minister Montego says the new arrangement will see the state earning 17.33% or $1.50 US per ton of dried bauxite shipped. The royalty payments of 50 US cents per metric ton of ore shipped will also be in effect. This, he says, will earn the country more US dollars compared to the traditional levy system. The mining minister also revealed that New Day has paid over 7 of the 17 million US dollars owed. The outstanding money, which includes legacy and royalty payments, will be paid over 3 years.
The government will continue to insist that when we are owed these payments, that these payments are quickly settled. The bauxite belongs to the people of Jamaica. Therefore, if the company makes no profit, then the levy on the bauxite must be paid.
Minister Montego also pledged to continue work with the company to settle the 1,140 outstanding land titles for persons who have been relocated to accommodate mining operations. Still in Parliament Tuesday, the House voted to extend the Denham Town Zone of Special Operations for another 3 months until January 2, 2019. This is the 6th extension of the anti-crime measure since the zone was first declared on October 17 last year. In piloting the motion, Prime Minister Andrew Holness said the enhanced security measures in select areas could be credited for the decline in the national murder rate.
Our resolve, Mr. Speaker, must therefore be greater than the resolve of the criminals. And we must demonstrate the resolve to take extraordinary measures in these abnormal circumstances. And we must show as a collective, as a parliament, that we have the stamina to sustain the measures that have been working.
In other news, the country is set to surpass its record of 11,000 new jobs in the tourism industry in a single year. That milestone was achieved last year, and Portfolio Minister Edmund Bartlett says he expects even greater numbers of persons are being employed in the sector. This, he says, is in line with Jamaica's record-breaking visitor arrivals, which is more than 3 million since the start of the year. Minister Bartlett made the statements while lauding travel agents for their contribution towards the increase in the number of visitors to the island.
Last year, 4.3 million people visited Jamaica and spent $3 billion US.
But also last year, 119,000 people are now employed in the tourism industry, while 9,000 were employed 50 years ago. So you see that today, because of you, over 53% of the foreign exchange generated by the country is directly from tourism.
In total, the country recorded 50,000 more jobs in 2017, pushing up the island's employment numbers. Mr. Bartlett was speaking at the 16th Annual USA Travel Agents Golf Tournament Awards ceremony on the weekend. An $18 million grant-funded contract has been signed to implement a behavior change program in 5 parishes. To be carried out over an 8-month period, the program will target at-risk youth in communities across St. James, Clarendon, St. Catherine, Kingston, and St. Andrew. Each parish will be allocated $3.6 million to undertake the activities with the goal of reducing deviant behavior among 8 to 25-year-olds. It's part of the Jamaica Social Investment Fund's Poverty Reduction Program, which is supported by the European Union.
The first component is the grant funding, and that targets the community level intervention. Then we have the other component which targets primary school children, and that will be rolled out in 5 primary schools across the PRP targeted 5 parishes. And the last component is where we look at public education, and that is for the general population.
The Mineral Heights Primary School in Clarendon is the latest institution to be removed from a shift system. This follows the addition of 12 new classrooms under the Jamaica Social Investment Fund's Basic Needs Trust Fund. At the handover ceremony recently, Education Minister Ruel Reid said the nearby Maypen Primary School was next in line to be taken off shift.
We are creating a comprehensive program for every school that needs expansion to be expanded. We are creating a comprehensive program to build out the 17 new high schools that are required. So I want all the principals to make sure that you're in the P's and Q's and make sure you send your school improvement plans to us early, indicate to us early enough the program for the repairs and the expansion of your school.
And finally, Prime Minister Andrew Holness has congratulated Jean-Henri Seyon on his appointment as Prime Minister of the Republic of Haiti. He pledged Jamaica's cooperation in achieving shared prosperity for both countries. Mr. Holness, who is chairman of CARICOM, also committed the regional grouping to continued robust cooperation and partnership with Haiti. Those commitments were expressed in an official letter to the new Haitian leader on Monday. Prime Minister Seyon was appointed on Sunday. And that's it for JIS News Today. I'm Stephen McHugh. Thanks for watching.
Looking to enhance your professional skills and competencies with training of the highest quality? Then apply today to the Justice Training Institute, JTI. JTI offers certificate courses in computer applications, CSEC Math and English, financial crimes investigation, courtroom protocols and procedures, diplomas in paralegal studies, court reporting, and more. For more information, call 928-4624, visit us at 4 Camp Road, or go to the website jti.edu.jm. The Justice Training Institute, training for improved performance.
People from different backgrounds and with varying personalities often end up working together. And despite the work being for the greater good of the organization, conflicts do arise. Watch as Paul Hines shares with us how conflicts affect workplace productivity and tips on how to solve those conflicts.
This sort of conflict is unhealthy for productivity in the workplace. You guys can't continue like this.
And she come in the morning and
I'm trying to show her she just acts like idiot. Alright, so hear what? I have a video from the Dispute Resolution Foundation that I think you guys need to watch. Come with me.
conflict is at its most fundamental a disagreement. Workplace conflict has a number of significant impacts. There's a cost to conflict at the workplace. So someone seeing a dispute between two employees or between employees and the employer being played out in public might be inconvenienced by what is happening, but they're unaware of what's the cost. There are all kinds of costs, from personal costs, health costs, reputational costs, to financial costs. So conflict can impact somebody at the workplace. It can impact the production and productivity of the business. If you think of it, any workplace could find that between a supervisor or just between two employees, there could be an unresolved conflict and it affects how they work. So if we have to work in a way that says your work is affecting mine and vice versa, and we're not getting along, then over time what will happen is that we tend not to be very productive because we're not communicating with each other, we're not responding, we're not engaged. So it affects the organization's relationship internally, it affects the dynamics of that, it affects productivity, it affects communication, it affects a number of things. So simple things like management decisions may be impacted by conflict at the workplace.
Mediation is very, very important in order to solve conflicts like these and to ensure that we have productivity.
Conflict resolution is a very broad term used to describe different approaches to try and manage conflict when conflict occurs. So mediation is just one of those processes, a very structured process in which a neutral third party who is trained helps disputing parties to come to a resolution of their dispute. Now, at the workplace, that will be helping them to negotiate. So they may be unable to negotiate by themselves, so they may get somebody who is external to each of them to help them to resolve that dispute, and that person would play the role of a mediator.
So guys, this is where I come in, to sit with you both and to discuss the issue further. But before we get to the meat of the matter, there is just one more point to note.
Now, in order to do that, the mediator has to have some very effective communication skills. So how does the mediator communicate? And communicate in a way that includes both verbal and non-verbal, but at the same time interpreting what is it that the verbal and non-verbal cues that are coming from the parties. What are those cues saying? So the mediator has to be very effective at communication. Now, helping the parties to communicate may be a part of the communication, the larger communication skills of the mediator. However, at a particular point in time, mediator has to help the parties to negotiate. So the mediator has to be au fait with what negotiation is about, how are the parties negotiating, and help them to be able to negotiate in a way that settles the dispute that they have.
Alright, so as you guys can see, conflict, it's not new. Today was probably the first for you guys, and it maybe won't be the last. But based on the video that you've just seen, you can now tell the true effect of what conflict can do within the organization. So you see, it's very important for you to practice mediation and proper conflict resolutions. Now, having seen or heard all of that, what really happened today?
Let's get a little breeze on this land. All right. Now let's get some bounce in the rhythm. All right. Let's get some fire on our hearts. Now that is what we call all right. Run, come, get some Jamaica.
Plans are far in place for the first summit for the establishment of the Global Center for Tourism Resilience and Crisis Management. Learn more next.
It is the fastest growing industry, yet it is also the most vulnerable sector. One scare and people will stop traveling. An immediate standstill on planes taking off and cruise ships remaining at port. To prevent a fallout in destination Jamaica, work is being embarked on to build a resilient tourism industry.
How do we build resilience, and how do we ensure that our destinations can respond to these global shocks and respond well to mitigate its impact, one, and two, to recover and recover fast from it, but to recover and build better. And I think therein lies the whole notion of resilience.
The ministry cannot prevent shocks from occurring, but systems and measures can be implemented to recover quickly from these difficulties. The stakeholders involved in building a resilient destination are working to do just that.
The resilience that we talk about has to begin with our human factor.
Human resource is Destination Jamaica's biggest asset. The workers of the industry represent the most iconic of all the attractions. Infusing those workers with the know-how to cater to the needs of their clientele is at the heart of initiatives such as the Jamaica Center of Tourism Innovation. The center has already graduated 150 first-world talents to fill top positions in the industry. The internationally certified Hospitality and Tourism Management program is priming 650 students of 32 high schools to join those ranks in the future. Current tourism workers are also undergoing foreign language training to broaden the communication proficiency of sector employees.
The second, of course, is how to build. Whole business of building better and using better technology to build more climate-resistant structures, and also to look at the issues of seismic involvement and how do we build against the seismic challenges that the Caribbean has.
The Port Royal earthquake experience, or even more recent, Hurricane Sandy of 2012 and others, have destroyed tourism havens and hideaways. Now, a collaborative effort is underway between architects and government ministries to develop sound human-made spaces that cater to the desires of visitors.
We don't have the responsibility for the actual build-out. What we have the duty to do is to bring to the attention of our technical partners the need for us to build in a certain way. And that's what we've been trying to do by way of the discussions that we have with investors who are coming in, as well as with our local town planners and the people who are involved in making approvals for business structures and for planning and so on. The other area of resilience is in terms now of our marketing. How do we build capacity to market against the new demographics that are emerging and the new psychographic profiles that are also out there?
In a data-driven era, the social space of the World Wide Web dictates what's hot, including must-go vacation spots. Marketing resilience is using data to make decisions on where to garner visitors and online shoppers. Like any good or item, Destination Jamaica is marketed through the click of a button. Technology is utilized to have greater access to far-flung markets where cultures, language, expectation, and experimental needs are different from Jamaica's.
And the final area that I believe we have to build resilience on is in terms of policy and governance. And this is a very important area because, you know, the world today is asking for a kind of governance that we've never seen before, born out of this new transparency that the technology is demanding.
With the world demanding a different kind of leadership, policies must be implemented to meet those requests. Tourism is more than sun, sand, and sea. It employs a large chunk of the workforce, thus providing foreign exchange earnings. For these reasons and more, it must be resilient.
And still on improvement plans for the island, the Office of the Utilities Regulation has been working on the implementation of the new area code 658 and the 10-digit dialing system. See for yourself exactly what I'm talking about.
Jamaica's 876 area code was created in 1996 during a split from our original area code, 809. The 876 area code currently serves the country's two mobile operators, Flow and Digicel. But in August 2017, a new area code, 658, was implemented, prompting the country to start using 10-digit dialing. The Office of Utilities Regulations is the agency mandated by the government to assign numbers to our telecom providers and other entities.
So the OUR projected that we will be running out of numbers in another few years under the 876 area code. And in order to mitigate against that, we would have to get another area code, which would provide millions more numbers into the local system for us to use. We're not going to use it yet because we are projecting again that in another 18 months to 24 months, the numbers on the 876 area code will be totally exhausted. So in another few years, then you'll see the 658 area code being used. So when we talk about 10-digit dialing right now, we're talking about the 876 area code because that's the only one that's really in use now. So it's 876 and the number you're wishing to dial.
To ensure everyone fully grasps the concept of 10-digit dialing, a permissive period from May 31 to October 30, 2018 is now in effect.
We're saying to Jamaicans, get used to dialing 10 digits in anticipation of when new numbers come under the 658. And 10-digit dialing is important because we want persons to start to change their behavior. So if it is that you take up your phone and you dial 7 digits for the person you wish to dial or call, 968-6053, you will get a recording from any of the telephone service providers. There's a standard recording that you'll hear. The voices may differ, but the message will be standard, approved by the OUR, reminding you that you are really to dial 10 digits, but your call will be put through.
10-digit dialing is now in effect for all local calls. Please remember to dial the area code 876 before the 7-digit number you are calling.
After October 30, if it is that you still are dialing 7 digits only, you're going to get a different kind of recording asking you now to hang up and dial 10 digits. So the 5 months is to get you into it. What does it mean for customers? It means that we'll have to manually dial 10 digits. Not only that, in our telephones, we have to ensure that we have numbers in our phones that include the 876 number, the area code. Some persons who have non-smartphones will have to manually update their phones to include that 876 number in all of their contacts. However, for smartphone users, we have been told that there are apps on the Android Play Store or in the iPhone.
Those persons who will be using apps on the Apple and Android stores to update their apps, you are being warned to read the instructions carefully.
Persons and companies really need to sensitize their staff as to what it is about and if they need to make any changes to their telephone systems and even their personal systems, their phones and so on.
Jamaicans are mixed on their responses to the new system.
To be honest, a lot of people out there, I don't think they're ready. They're not prepared. I guess they need more understanding of it.
I never heard about it, but I thank you that you are telling me about it now. I'll try and find out some more about that, like research on the internet.
You have to get changes. No care what, you have to get changes. So you're not ready. But it now come till next year. So probably we will get used to it.
I think we're ready, you know. We're ready for the changes. Well, based on the amount of numbers that in circulation at present, you find that at some point in time we're going to run out.
I don't know what to feel about it because this one we have has been working good. So I don't know what is the change for and what it's about, and I don't even remember the new code.
I think it's a thing that will be hard for the elderly, not for the young people, but for the elderly, because Sometimes they can't even remember the 7 digits, but to remember 10 nowadays, it's going to be very hard.
Well, me no really have no problem with it because we already done used to dialing numbers. So 876 is our code, so nothing wrong with add it in to the number where we are dialing.
Change is good and I'm ready. I've changed over all my numbers to the 10-digit codes that they say that you need to do, so I think I'm ready.
Mixed emotions from more citizens, but the Office of Utilities Regulations will be continuing its sensitization meetings across the island to ensure more Jamaicans are informed.
Hear this, youth, older people, mature people, anyone who is listening right now, don't wait for extraordinary moments. Seize small opportunities and make them great. I've learned that through this experience. So if you have an idea, there's something that you want to do and you have not sought out an avenue, trust me, the time is now. Get it done.
It's National Engineers Week, and we're celebrating the profession and the people who are an important part of any nation's development. Today, we're sharing some interesting facts about the profession. Firstly, the word engineer is derived from the Latin word ingenium, which means cleverness. And until the 18th century, the job exclusively referred to war engines because engineers built weapons and forts. Secondly, the Ferris wheel is regarded as one of the largest engineering wonders of the world. Thirdly, engineers are significantly involved in the production of running shoes. They ensure that the shock of each walking or running step spreads through the entire foot. While providing comfort, this is also to protect our joints and our spine. And finally, a civil engineer invented the water slide, which is an attraction used right across the world. This was done by developing a pump system that allows just the right amount of water onto the slide. Go ahead and do your own research on this profession and others. And this is where we'll have to leave you for today's show. But do join us again tomorrow for what promises to be another informative edition. If you missed anything, watch it all again on our website or our YouTube page. And don't forget to keep up with us via our Facebook, Instagram, or Twitter pages. On behalf of the entire production team, I'm Theodore Henry. Do take care.
This has been a production of the Jamaica Information Service, the voice of Jamaica.